Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Slcmof, and I'm back again with the video, and today I would like to talk about the Catwoman DLC, which is probably going to come out late October, around the time that the Nightwing DLC came out, except in October instead of September. It's called Catwoman's Revenge, and from the picture, it looks like there's going to be some Riddler robots involved, just as they were in the main campaign. I do believe that it's going to take place in a factory or facility that the Riddler was maybe producing the robots or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure, but one thing I do know for sure is that it's going to be very short. Probably the same length of the Nightwing DLC. So again, I want to keep this video pretty short. I expect the Catwoman DLC, again, I'm giving my expectations, not my hopes. I gave my Nightwing DLC hopes video, and basically none of those hopes went true. I'll link that down below if you would like to compare my ideas of what the Nightwing DLC should have been to what they were. They ended up being. But anyway, my thoughts on what the Catwoman DLC will be. Again, not what I want it to be, but I'm just telling you what the Catwoman DLC will be. I'm just being honest. It's going to be 20 minutes long. It's probably going to involve Riddler robots. There may be a little boss fight at the end, kind of similar to the one that we got in the the Batgirl DLC with Harley Quinn and Joker. Something similar to that. That's mainly involves beating up robots, but there's the boss element involved with the Riddler. And I expect it to be around 15 to 20 minutes long. So anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, you can feel free to the like button. Let me know your thoughts on the length of the Catwoman DLC and what you expect from it. Ultimately, I expect it to be, like I said, around 15 minutes long. If it's longer than 20 minutes, I'll be very, very surprised if it's longer than 20 minutes long. Furthermore, I expect it to not have a plot beyond the fact of Catwoman seeking her revenge. Of course, it's going to take place after the events of Arkham Knight, seeing that it's called Catwoman's Revenge, unless it's revenge for something that maybe happened previously with Catwoman and Riddler that we're not aware of. But to my understanding and what we can presume, it's most likely going to take place after the events of Arkham Knight. So like I said, expect it to not have any serious plot, even though it's called Catwoman's Revenge, but nothing's going to happen in the DLC. Like, for example, take the Nightwing DLC. It doesn't contribute anything to the Arkhamverse. You don't need to actually play the DLC to learn anything new about the Arkhamverse, or it doesn't contribute any story, really. So basically, they call it a story pack, but it's really a misnomer. It's really a gameplay pack. You're playing for the purpose of playing. That's it. There's no purpose of actually learning more about the story or that kind of thing. So there will be no plot. The plot is just going to be Catwoman seeking out her revenge on the Riddler, and, you know, nothing will happen. Maybe Catwoman will win and take down the Riddler. Maybe she won't. It's all in the details. It really doesn't matter. The point is, this isn't going to contribute to the story. No one's going to die. No one's going to get hurt. And ultimately, you won't need to play this to have a better understanding or enjoy the Arkhamverse any more than you already do. So I can already tell you, if it's longer than 20 minutes, I will be very, very surprised. And if it is longer than 20 minutes, that means that they went back after the harsh critique of 3 of the 4 DLC packs. The Riddler, the Harley Quinn, the Red Hood, and the Nightwing DLC, which were all about 10 to 15 minutes long. And they just added layers, maybe sections of combat. But ultimately, like I said, they're not going to add anything to the plot. So if it's longer than 20 minutes, I'll be very surprised. And if it has a plot to it, in the sense that something actually happens, and you should actually play the DLC to learn more about the Arkhamverse, because the story actually has a plot to it, and not just this generic kind of Penguins breaking out of GCPD, stop him, you throw him back in jail, and then it cuts to black, you know. If something actually happens in the DLC, I'll be very surprised. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about the Catwoman DLC. Will you be buying it? Also, for those of you that are not Season Pass holders, I do strongly encourage you and hope that you do boycott the Nightwing DLC. Just off some other Arkham YouTubers' reviews, Salvage Arkham gave it a 1 out of 10. I gave it a 2 out of 10. Caboose gave it a 4 out of 10. EGP gave it a really low grade as well. So basically, it was terrible. So I really hope you don't buy it. I really hope you boycott it. Of course, you know, us Season Pass holders had to buy it, or had to play it at that point. We've already purchased it, so we might as well play it and tell. And I hope that in playing it, I've done something good to at least one of you, and encourage you not to buy it and waste your money on it, because it's very, very awful. Probably the worst bit of DLC I've ever played in any video game ever. I know I'm not the most professional about this kind of stuff, and I know that there's a reason why people like Caboose XBL are really the main figurehead for the quote Arkham community or what have you, but I just really am a little bit disappointed with the way everything's been going recently with Rocksteady. More so, I think that it's just they don't really seem to care. And somebody asked me the other day, do you think that Rocksteady just doesn't care about us anymore? And at that time I said, this was just 24 hours ago, I said, I think they do care. I think there's serious corporate pressure to make their next game. I think there's corporate pressure to, like I said, develop their next game and also the other DLC, and then fix the PC port as well, which they're probably still actively working on. But then after I checked the Sefton Hill interactions, if you just type it in on Twitter, you can see how many people added him. People added him over 100 times with something related to my video. My video was probably added at him almost 50 times. I counted and favorited and retweeted some of them as well. And other tweets of people just saying the Nightwing DLC sucked, what are you going to do about it, blah, 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 counted over hundreds and hundreds of times. And he tweeted today, someone tweeted me about a leaderboard issue we'd like to fix if possible, so if you can reply with this info, thanks. So basically, out of our hundreds and hundreds of tweets telling him that, you know, we want a refund on the DLC, we've been scammed, you know, what are you going to do to make the DLC better, he responds with some obscure leaderboard patch that I don't think exists. I think he's just trying to pretend that he didn't hear any of our tweets, and then a lot of people responded to that tweet saying, what are you going to do about the DLC? The DLC sucked, and he ignores all those as well. So he'll probably be tweeting out some promotional stuff later in the day, trying to upsell us some maybe other DLC. Anyway, guys, okay, I'm starting to ramble on. Like I said, I don't want to do that. Let me know what you thought about this commentary. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. My name's Slcmof, and we'll see you later.